Okay. All right. Well, where do we want to start this morning? I had already started a little bit by showing you my Easter page.
Go ahead and tell us about your Easter page again, why don't you?
This is in my monthly, and it's on a cross template. And basically, I was stuck. I think it was a couple weeks ago we talked about it. I was stuck on what to do with the cross, and I just kind of had that song, "The Old Rugged Cross," kept coming through my mind. So I dug out one of my mom's old hymnals, and I just tore it. I've got one stanza in there, and then I just kind of picked out the words that I liked, and then I added this little ribbon as kind of a 3D embellishment, basically because I messed up something here, I think. Often those mistakes are what kind of gives me a little inspiration. And then,
was that hard for you to cut up the hymnal? Because I'm struggling with that.
you know, I have several of them, and they're so old and brittle anyway that they wouldn't be used any other way. And it's just my way of having a piece of my mom in there.
Yeah.
So
I tried to cut from a Bible because I've got dozens of Bibles like you all do, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
I think that would be harder for me. The hymnal was okay, and you can always copy it and then use that. But I just
I love that old look on that.
Yeah, the vintage look.
You can do that with a cream paper too, if you use a cream colored paper.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because that at least gives you the color of the that's what I did. Hang on, I'll show you mine.
Yeah. So you're faking the vintage.
Yeah, I don't have any cream paper, but that's a great idea.
So if you have tea bags, you can stain the paper, put them in like a pan, boil them up a little bit, and you can stain plain white paper and then crumple it up. It makes it look vintage, old, gets really soft.
Oh, wow. Okay, great idea.
So yeah, that's all I did. I just used cardstock, cream colored cardstock.
Cardstock. Okay, that looks good.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try your technique, Leah.
Yeah.
You had to like cook up a whole batch if you're going to try that.
You just one tea bag, just throw in one tea bag. It goes a long way. I think I did like 10 papers one time like that. So
very cool.
It worked really good.
That used to be how they used to dye lace. That's how they dyed it, was with tea bags, the tea.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
The cotton lace, that's how they used to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Who is doing the 30 Days of Resurrection? We don't have any monthlies in here. That's what Pip was doing. So I won't bore you with mine.
Oh, it's never.
I loved it. It was great.
I'm just trying to keep up with it. And then Mary Jo, are you doing our May theme?
No, I think I had September.
You had September. Who's doing May?
And I had totally,
what is May, Diana?
I'm glad you said that because I totally forgot about it.
Stephanie is, and she couldn't join us today. She wasn't feeling well. She's going to do Faith.
Oh, okay.
At least I think that's what our game plan is.
Okay. I need to get with the program.
Get with the program. And then you girls are doing the ABC. So this letter of the week is P.
P, okay.
I think this is the one page that I have both sides in my ABC journal actually completed. So I did this one last fall. And this is just a cookie cutter that just gave me that shape. And then I just kind of plopped in my verses around it. And Tammy is the one that created this P. And I just like that little button.
Cute.
So when I did the template for the journal, I added that little button over here. And I just got really, really lucky. And I had some stickers that had buttons. So it's buttons and leaves. Kind of an interesting combo, but that's often how my little pages develop. And then this is the one I did for this time around. And I was going to ask you guys, I started this one. This is a little bookmark. Mm-hmm. So often I will start with something like that, and that gives me just a little texture to add in, and I worked around it. So in the future,
I had not seen the push before.
Pray until something happens. That phrase has been around a while.
Yeah, but I saw it for the first time yesterday. I love that.
Well, it may be coming. It may be coming back because I had it on a little bookmark, and I just thought, well, I'm going to put that on my P page because sometimes I just need something to anchor it and just to kind of define that shape for me.
Did you get that, girls? Pray until something happens. PUSH.
I like that.
Got it too.
That's good.
You can push through. That's kind of
Right.
what we're all doing right now, right?
We are.
Okay, question for you guys.
Okay.
In the future, when I get the ABC journal printed again, right now it just starts with that letter, but would you like it to have more definition and have some stitch lines and form like that?
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Diane, I think you could do one page with the P and then one page like that.
Right. Well, it costs more if I'm doing the front and back of the pages, but I had thought of that too, that I would, let me see one that I don't have. Well, I'm making good progress in here. So let's look at R. So then R would just have the letter on one side, and then we would flip it over, and then you would think to have one that has the structure template on it.
Mm.
Okay.
Diana, I have the old ABC book, and so I've got the loose pages.
Yes.
I bought the pack. I'm really glad I did that because I think those loose pages are easier to work with.
So you like just the page.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think I'm going to continue to have those available because some people, I don't know if I told you, Olivia, when you started, but it's a fun way to personalize any of the journals. If you know somebody whose name starts with that letter, like if I were to give this to Paula, I could decorate that whole page and she could put it wherever she wanted in her journal. So I think I'll continue to have those pages loose, and they can be used for a variety of things.
Can we download the pages one at a time if we wanted to?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you go to my shop, I need to have my graphic or my technical assistant on my website help me, because right now, if you look at that shop, it just goes on and on and on and on. And all of those A to Z individual pages are listed at the end.
Okay.
But they're in there that way. Do you girls have some ABC pages to show and tell?
I've been kind of working on a lot of like the templates. So we made we did one of them, and here's yours. And then so here's how mine turned out.
Ooh, I like that.
Livy, that looks so cute.
And then that's hers.
Oh, that's fun.
So
I like
cute.
the colors of that. Wow.
Thank you.
I love your colors, Leah.
Thank you.
Abby just started this yesterday, so Abby,
Well,
I bet
I
you.
haven't even started. Like mine's completely blank. I'm
Okay.
trying to like take up like some
Ideas.
notes and
Yeah.
tips. Yeah.
So everybody else who has started, how did you get started? Like just to help Abby think, okay, I have this whole journal and what am I going to do with it?
I'll tell you what I did, Abby. I went on Pinterest.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And I just now Diana has actually a lot of stuff on Pinterest that you can look at some of her stuff.
Oh, okay.
On her site. But I just kind of started looking at Bible journaling in general on Pinterest that other people
Okay.
have done, and so I just started creating some, boards. You know, you create boards on.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started doing that, and then I found all these lettering. I started putting in all this lettering thing.
Lettering. Mhm.
And then I found, banners, examples of banners, and I put those in there.
Gotcha.
So I started creating a whole lot of things. And then for me, I had created, and I'll show you this, what I did. And
Okay.
I used to be a teacher, a high school teacher. And so
Gotcha.
you kind of have to understand how I think. I kind of think that way. So
Okay.
what I did is I made myself a binder. So I can
Okay.
have some examples. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
See
Yes.
Stitching lines. And so, and I
That's a
was,
good idea.
I taught clothing construction. So stitching to me was kind of like in my brain anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. And then I just went into lettering, and I found like different types of lettering.
Oh, I love
And I
that.
practiced.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Nice.
By making them. And I did the same thing with doodles. See, can you see that?
That's a really good idea. So
And
you just
so-
have them like handy.
And so for when I was having a hard time getting started, like how to do a page, for me,
Mhm.
if I did all this, then I thought, oh, okay, now I kind of got in my mind how I'm supposed to do it. So
Yeah.
that was just kind of how I started to get some ideas.
Okay,
If
yeah,
we
that's a good
ever
idea.
can get all together again, will you bring that notebook so we can look at it?
I'll bring it.
Okay, love to see it.
She's gonna get us all organized.
I got it. I can't get my stuff on a page evidently for Diana that I need to get done, but I can do this.
You just go however the mood strikes you.
Well, you know, and it's funny. I actually have in some ways been busier during this pandemic for some reason than I have normally. And I don't know if it's just because I'm organizing myself differently, or, you know, I don't know what it is, but anyway.
I think having long stretches of uninterrupted time allows you to get into things that you normally wouldn't. And that's what I've really enjoyed about it.
Right.
Annette, how did you get started on your pages? What's your process?
I just normally put all verses, like I'm doing the resurrection verses. I have them, but I haven't started putting them on the page yet. So I'm just collect them all on my phone, on a page in my phone in the notes. And then I'll go back and sit for a long time and just write out. For the rest, I just did that. I was watching the movie, and and so I just did 2 pages of the rest while I think that was that last month? Was it?
Yeah, that was March.
March, okay. So I sat and did that, wrote it down all at once. I'm just not one who, because I normally do my devotionals at night. So I do my verses at night, and I do write them in a journal that I keep on my bed, but I don't write them in this because I don't make it as pretty. So then I just do it all at once together.
Gotcha.
The other thing,
Here's another, we have
same idea, but that she was talking about, and then the girls will understand this because they're good at probably cutting and pasting off the internet, is that you can go and find on different Bible apps, you can cut and paste, like if you want to say on grace or I don't know, love or whatever, you can actually go in there and there'll be concordances and you can just say love, and then it'll show all these verses on love, and you can just cut and paste into a document, a Word document, and just print it out.
Bible Hub is my favorite.
I love Bible Hub. It's wonderful.
Good to know.
Okay, good ideas. And in terms of just starting the journal, because you've got this one. What
Yeah.
I started this.
Which one does she have? Which one does she have?
This one, the
Oh, the one you got.
It's like the
regular.
fruits of the spirit. Yeah.
So I started this one for Mark, my son, and basically just started by coloring it in, and I'm inviting him to do some of that with me. And I'm going to incorporate pictures. Can you see that?
Aw.
Look at his cute little dimple. So that to me just sparks joy. So I'm going to do verses around it. So you can go in and color. You can do the washi tape on the edge. And I find that starting that, it gets me thinking about how I want to do that page, if that kind
Gotcha. Okay.
of makes sense.
So don't you sometimes, I mean, I do this too. I'll pick out my washi tape colors I want to use, and then I'll pick out my pencils or pens that I'm going to use, the colors, and kind of get those.
Okay. Like get a theme before you
Get
start.
a theme. It's sometimes it's a little easier if you kind of get a design theme, and then in your head, and you know what you're going to go with, and you already know what your topic is. So
Okay.
That's what I have trouble with, Mary Jo, is getting a theme and kind of getting a visual. I'm doing it scattershot right now, and I think if I could do it your way, it would turn out prettier. I'd be happier with it.
well, I think what happened was when I first started, that's what I was doing. I was just scatter shopping, like you said. That's a good word. And I realized that it's okay because that's how I was getting into it.
Yeah.
And then I think it's like Diana's so good at it because she's done it for so long and she's got a very creative pen anyway. So, but for me, I'm not as creative. So I'm more technical than creative. And so I have to kind of get that together first before I go on. And then I'll see other people's pages and I'll go, oh my goodness, how beautiful is that? Or,
Right.
what a great idea. Or, the different things. I've learned so much from other people.
I'm not very good at lettering yet. I want to get better at it, but I tried something new this morning. I printed out a title. A friend sends me devotionals every morning, and one of them that she sent me this morning was about sheltering in faith, and I just loved that. So I printed out the title, Shelter in Faith, in some fancy script off my computer, and then I put that on my light box and kind of went over it. And then I wanted to have, I don't draw at all, but I found a website that teaches you how to step-by-step draw an eagle. So I did that too. So it's pretty primitive, but it's a start. Let me show you what I've got so far.
It sounds awesome.
I was going to say, it sounds really
Oh,
good.
wait a minute. I might have to get rid of my background. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
You can now.
Okay.
Aw.
That's
Very
good.
cool.
That looks really good.
So I started out with that verse from Psalm 91, he will cover you with his feathers and under his wings you will find refuge. But I'm going to find some more about sheltering in faith.
I love that.
I love that.
It's just such
We're
a
all
great
like
idea.
So that kind of goes along the lines. Remember last time I told you that somebody had asked me about doing vertical templates,
Mm-hmm.
which basically is just turning your journal on edge and putting something there. But she was doing something similar to that. She wanted to do headlines of faith. So that in her journal, as she is, okay, we've got 10 minutes, sorry about that. In whatever journal that she's using, she's journaling about COVID. And then she's kind of countering that on the other side. So,
Oh, what a great idea.
yeah, so this is my idea. I just picked these up from the printer, but the basic idea is to have some little headline, like you could do that shelter in faith here, and then all the verses supporting it. And then one similar to that is putting your headline here, and then you would have those little snapshots like you would see in a newspaper or something.
Mhm.
So
Did she put the negative headline at all in her journal?
I don't know. We were communicating back and forth with the email, and she just said that was what she was kind of chronicling, and what her family was doing or what the headlines were, and then like whatever, if her child was struggling with anxiety, for example, then on that headline of faith, it might be where she would use verses against anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So that's hot off the presses. I wasn't even sure I was going to share that today, but that,
And I think for depending on just what you want to do, I think that the vertical one is a really cool one.
With that vertical one, it would be neat to have the negative headline on one side and then God's word on the other side.
yes.
Yeah.
So in honor of Earth Day, I didn't really plan this at all because
Is it tomorrow or today?
it's tomorrow, but
Okay.
I just kept thinking about every time we watch the news, it's just all of that heavy weight of the news. And it's probably similar to what that other reader was talking about, of how do we counter all of that negative weight. And that song, He's Got the Whole World in His Hands, kept coming to mind. So it was probably about a month ago when all this started that I got some graphic help with that to do. He's got the world in his hands. And this is my other question to you. See, this one doesn't have stitch lines, and that one does. And I decided to list it in the shop together so that people could have their option. And if you have multiple kids, the younger one might want to have that structure, and an older one might not want it, or it just kind of opens it up. And my way of trying to get my boys involved in this, because they're not into the cutesy kind of stuff, but for their journals, I want them to be a part of it, whether it's coloring or adding a verse. So this is Micah's, where he colored it, and then I went ahead and did that Great Commission verse, and then I'm going to add verses around it for him.
So do you split up like each page into sections? Because it's like a quilt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a quilt type. So how do you like split it up? Like, do you do like the same format for each?
No, I am all over the place. What was your term, Fran?
Scatter shooting.
Scatter, yeah. So let me show you a little bit.
Yeah, there's one that I just started.
So do you like make the outline first and then start going?
I did, yeah, because
Okay.
I had about it, but it's got kind of that look of quilts in it, and it's what it was a Bible study. You can see.
Gotcha.
Abby, I don't, sweetie, because my handwriting is so large and I'm just so scattered with that, with my writing. So I use the template ones, but I also just do a lot that I don't, and then go back and draw the lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
want to
wondering
do more
about
than a
that
quilt
because
shape.
how do you know how much space you're going to need for your verse?
right. So I do it both ways. And if you like the structure of the template, that gives you that size, but you really kind of have to, learn about your handwriting and how long the verse is. And sometimes you don't get it all on there, and you can do the ellipses and just paraphrase it a little bit. Or sometimes then you can just put a piece of washi over, like this is a good example here, where this is a heart template, so it already had the shapes, but this verse went longer than one box, so I covered that line up with washi tape, and then I continued the verse, and on the others I got my verses in there. So that's one way to get around the spacing if you run out of it. And this is one that started blank, and I just wrote the verse. And then I went through and I did the stitch lines. There's a little ruler in the back of your journal. I don't know if you have found that yet.
Yes.
So starting with straight lines, anything that you can do with that ruler, and just thinking of like quilt squares is probably the best way to get started. And then as you get some practice with it, then you can incorporate, again, this was a free for all page, and I just did like a little wavy line after I had done that verse. And then so my next verse, I dropped down here and then went with a little diagonal line.
Okay, gotcha.
Does that help you?
Yes, that helps a lot.
And you can use,
this was one that I did that was real square in this book. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where I didn't section it off. I started with one and then went with the other. This one, I put the circle in the middle.
Oh, that's so pretty. I love that.
Yeah, that's really cute.
And then did it like that. So it's kind of the same idea. This one is the same way. I probably started with one thing.
Oh, love
and then
that.
started, changing it. And like this one though was a little bit different. It's like, y'all are familiar with mapping in school. When you map something, use that technique. Well, that's that idea of mapping.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's where you have a central thought. A lot of times it'll be in the center, and then they go off that with other thoughts to go with that thing. So that's kind of where that idea came from.
and another thing you can do is you can use washi tape to do a little grid on your page.
Okay.
And, so that'll give you the shapes that you want for your rectangles or squares. And unlike the line, if you need to borrow some space from the next square, then you just take that washi tape off.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It's a good idea.
Yeah. So this is another one, and I just have a round stencil. You probably have.
Yes.
Oh, that's
that way
cool.
this is a Fiskars brand. It's that whoever makes those scissors.
Scissors,
That's a quilting template.
Quilting.
So
template.
you could do this either way. You can decide, okay, I'm gonna do a really big, like she was saying with the mapping, you could just do a really big central theme verse or your title in there, and then you just kind of go around that. Or you can, I think I probably wrote this first out and thought, okay, is this going to be a square page or is it going to be a round page? And then I just came through with this and I found the shape that fit those words. And
Gotcha.
that's
Okay.
partial. And then the same thing has the little ridges. So apparently I had this out when I was doing this page, because if you see on the bottom, that's how I did that little border.
Okay.
And your ruler has that little scalloped edge too. It's just a little bit smaller.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
And how I made that hexagon page, I don't know if you can see this very well, but it's actually, this is what quilters will use to make their little blocks with. So.
Olivia, what did you do?
Gotcha.
Does anyone have an idea of like what to do, like how to stick these on our like journal,
Little tabs.
the ABC?
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I have class right now. I
Okay.
have to go.
Bye.
Okay. And we're
Bye.
about,
Thank you,
bye.
guys. Thank you so
Bye.
much. I'll get started on it. Bye.
We're about a minute out. So Olivia, let's get back on here after this ends. I'll start another meeting and you pop back in, and
Okay.
then I'll walk you through that, because those are tabs that you can cut out and immediately attach to your journal.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have any final words?
Good seeing you guys.
Yes, good seeing you.
Seeing you.
I have
I
3
feel like we
Zoom
should
calls
all do
today.
the beach background and we can all be at the beach together.
I love that idea.
Because she's even got, look, she's got wind.
Yes.
I know. I don't
You
know
could
where I
have
got
a
that.
fan and it could blow through your hair.
I
Put a
know.
fan on. Go sit outside.
But my hair's not even blowing. That's even better.
Well, it's good to see all your smiling faces.
Y'all too.